Alright guys, so I'm just coming on here to make an update video on the whole wedding ring situation that I've been going through that you saw in the last video about how my clients didn't pay for the wedding rings that I made. And I was going to make this video quite different to what I'm about to make it, but I had a bunch of screenshots saved again because me and the client had been going back and forth a bit more, and we both posted it on Facebook and things have blown up way out of proportion. We both have a lot of followers, so everyone's putting in their 2 cents to the situation. And it's just like going crazy and blowing up way more than it should be. I think if I was to just continue to post my side of the thing, it's just prolonging the whole thing and it's just snowballing and we're going around in circles a lot. Me and the client will never agree on the price of what the rings are worth. And that's just something we have to accept, and there's no point in keep on trying to justify all the time I put in and all that stuff like that. So I just want to make this short and sweet and move on with the situation. And so I'm going to share one of your comments that really resonated with me. So I just put a screenshot here, but this one was from Anthony, and I really appreciate the comment, man. But one of the things he said, pricing for handcrafted work is always subjective, a bit like opals themselves. At the end of the day, people pay what they think something is worth. And that's so true, man. I actually went for a motorbike ride today and I wanted to add into my video of me going to get some quotes from other jewelers because, you know, my client had got his quotes from his jewelers and I just wanted my own ones because I had actually not gotten my own quotes. I'm just taking his word for how much they will be made for. And so I went to a random shop here that does handmade stuff and I told them that I'd supply the stones. I showed them the pictures here of the rings I'd like to be made and told them I'd supply the gold too. And to their quote, getting it done at their shop would have been $2,200 per ring to get done when I'm supplying the gold and the stones, which equals to $4,400 for both rings, which is $1,400 more than what I was asking. Now I understand that shop also has overheads and stuff like that, and that's why they need to charge a bit of an extra price. If you take $1,000 for their overheads and stuff like that, it's still a bit more than what I was asking. But the point is that I think no matter where I go, everyone's always going to have a different price. As Anthony said, the work is really worth whatever the client is willing to pay at the end of the day. And so we've learnt a lot of lessons through this. Like one of the big ones is the fact that I never gave a quote and the client never asked a quote. So we both learnt that next time he's got to ask a quote and I've got to just tell a client a quote, even if they don't ask. And so that's what I'm going to do for the future. So we're taking some lessons from this. And when I was thinking about making another YouTube video that would just prolong all this arguing and all this sort of stuff, then thought maybe I just shouldn't, maybe I should just put it all to bed. I actually called my client and we had a bit of a heart-to-heart on the phone together where we both just chose to just diffuse the situation. So I called him up, I was like, look, I'm just working on my YouTube video right now and I realized that all these comments that I'm just going to be putting into this are just going to prolong and snowball this whole thing and just keep blowing it out of proportion, which is not a good look for either of us. And that, look, I'm just gonna post a little update video, make it short and sweet, and just like do what I'm doing now, but just like end it there. And he came back at me with the same energy. He's like, yep, I just want to put it to bed too. It's all too much. So many other people putting in their 2 cents. All the comments going crazy because we both have a bit of a following on the Facebook pages, and so the comments are just going wild and all this sort of stuff, and we're both just over it. So we came at each other with the same energy, and after talking about it and just acknowledging to each other that we're never going to agree on a thing, we're both just honestly stubborn people. He's very hurt and I'm trying to see it from his point of view of how all this stuff can stress him out for his wedding and stuff like that. I'm also hurt, and he also acknowledged that as well during the phone call. Like when we were posting on Facebook, I actually came down in price again and said, look, I'll meet you in the middle of our 2 prices. He was stuck on $1,500. I had come down to $2,400 for my work, and I was like, look, I'll meet you in the middle, but he still didn't want to, and he still said no. But when we had the heart-to-heart, he's like, yeah, look, I was being a bit stubborn. I should have just met you in the middle and all that sort of stuff. So he acknowledged that, and I really appreciate that. And we just had a really good heart-to-heart, and although the friendship might be rocky at the moment, at the end of the day we said to each other, maybe when we run into each other we can have a beer together and just put this behind us and we're chilling. Now obviously from the thumbnail you have seen that the rings have been destroyed. I'm going to put a little video here of the destroyed rings. During all this arguing on Facebook, my client commented, look, I just cut up the rings, I destroyed them. And I didn't believe him, so I went onto their live stream. They were live streaming at the time. I typed in, did you really destroy my rings? And then, as you can see here, yes indeed, he destroyed the rings. And that was quite upsetting to see because there's a lot of time and effort that were put into those rings and now they've been destroyed, which is not the easiest thing to see. He also acknowledged that it was hard for him to do because he really did love the work, and he said that after he did it, he teared up a bit afterwards, after realizing he just did that. And you know, that's how it goes sometimes when you get emotions. I understand, we get angry, we do things that we regret, and all this sort of stuff, and emotions flow, and we do things that we don't mean to do sometimes. And yeah, everything that's been happening is just examples of human nature, man. Like, this sort of stuff happens. So with that, I'm going to move on from all this conversation with the client and everything's been sorted now. I'm not asking for any money now that they've destroyed the rings. So to clarify, I have received $0 altogether for the ring things, and I'm not going to receive any money. I'm down a few $100 in petrol and some tools that I bought and 2 weeks of my life, but besides that, we're gonna live. It's gone. It is what it is. It's all happened. We've had our heart to heart. After that phone call, we agreed to delete all the stuff off Facebook. So he's deleted his stuff, I deleted all my stuff, everything's gone. The YouTube videos are still up because that's part of my life, and I'll explain that in this portion of the video. So leaving all that behind, now we get to this portion of the video where I just want to explain my work and for future clients that come around to me asking for work and stuff like that. And so after sitting and reflecting for a while at everything that has happened, I noticed I've worded some things wrong in my last video that I'm going to explain here. So after some comments on my last video, there's a few people who think charging thinking time in my jewelry making process was a wrong thing to do. And after doing some reflecting, I think I understand where me and you may have got lost in the thinking time. I think what I said, saying thinking time, was the wrong words to use, and that's on me, man. I think I used the wrong words for the wrong sort of thing I was explaining. And I've never really been good at English. I'm an artist. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed when it comes to the English and trying to explain things. Also, my autistic brain just might think of things totally differently to anyone else. But now I realize what I call thinking time, majority of people call a design fee, which is something that I didn't really realize until after reflecting now. I'm like, everyone charges thinking time. There's not one business out there that makes art that doesn't charge thinking time. But then I realized, wait a minute, they call it a design fee, but I'm calling it thinking time, which kind of sounds bad. It kind of sounds wrong. But the way I thought about it in my head and the way I do things, like the way I was explaining in my last video, I was like, I'm going to be going out fishing, thinking about this design, and I'm putting that only to my price at the end of the day, which is charging thinking time, which may have sounded wrong to some people. But that's the way I do things. Like, if I'm going fishing, I could think about the design in my head and like photographically design it. Whereas somebody else might have like a sketch pad and they might be sketching it out, and that's what they charge as their thinking time. I have a completely different brain that's actually able to sketch in my mind. I think that that is something that I do need to put out there and let everyone know, because some people might not think I'm working because I don't have this sketch pad right next to me sketching something out, spending hours trying to design something. But I'm actually sketching in my head, which is something that I think is pretty cool that I'm able to do. But I now realize and understand that not everyone thinks that way, and a lot of people would have to have a sketch pad in order to design that sort of thing. So they might be out fishing with a sketch pad and they might be charging for their design process because they're using a sketch pad, and because that looks more like they're working, that justifies their design price. But at the end of the day, I think that everyone charges a design fee when they're making something by hand. I don't think there's anyone out there that doesn't charge a design fee. And that's something that I worded as thinking time, but I shouldn't have. It should have been just a normal design fee, a set rate of the design fee. So that's where I went wrong. But when I'm thinking about my price in my mind, I did add on a few $100 for the design fee, which I said was thinking time, but it's actually just a design fee. And if I had worded it as a design fee, then a lot of people, I think, would have understood and been like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because everyone has a design fee when they're creating something from scratch, something from their brain. And so after reflecting, I just think I did word things wrong, which may have made the client feel like they have been taken advantage of, which I now understand. And so I'm just trying to explain to you guys my sort of thinking process, to let you guys know that I'm not trying to scam anyone, man. I'm just trying to price things how anyone would really price things, because design fee is completely normal, I think. So if you have seen any of my tattoo work recently, you'll know that the designs that I've been doing lately in tattoos I'm showing here with all the scrolly patterns and stuff like that, the same sort of thought process went into these rings, because that's what I've been doing lately, and I'm in the thought process of scrolly sort of stuff that actually reflected in the rings I made. And so the rings had their own scrolls on them and stuff like that, which I think is super cool. And if you really love someone's art in all aspects, I think that the client would appreciate the way that I've designed them, and they have come from me reflecting in my tattoos, and everything else I'm doing in my life is just reflected through the art piece. I think that's super special, and like makes it just even more amazing. Now, after uploading the short video of me making the men's ring on TikTok and Facebook and everything, it's accumulated over 500,000 views on that video, which has resulted in me getting a lot of messages from people asking me to do jewelry work for them. But unfortunately, I just cannot take it on. Now, those 2 rings that I made, for example, in those 2 weeks was so hard on my body, and I actually had a bit of a bad back flare up after making them because of all that time just curled over, hunched like this, making the jewelry. I get the same problem with tattoos, and I made a whole YouTube video about my back problems and sciatica that I've been having in the last year, which has accumulated over me doing jewelry for 10 years and tattooing for so long that being hunched over all this time has caused a bulging disc in my back that's causing sciatica and all these problems, and now I'm just in pain like all the time and stuff like that. And so unfortunately, I just can't take on the work that people want me to do for them, and it's especially jewelry work. Jewelry work is so much harder on the body than doing a tattoo. Now, I'm only able to do like a tattoo here and there because of how bad my back is at the moment, and with the jewelry work I do need to take my time taking all these breaks, and I still get a bad back flare up after all the jewelry work because it's just that much more harder on the body, just hunched, curled over for so long doing all the technical stuff that you see in my videos. It's really not good for your neck and for your back or anything like that. And so I'm more inclined to take on a tattoo because that's only a few hours out of my day, and I can easily smash that out rather than taking on a jewelry piece that's going to take me multiple days. And I'm probably going to get paid less for the jewelry than the tattoo, even though it's going to take multiple days as well. And because of all that, I'm also going to be very picky and choosy of the jewelry work that I do want to take on. So currently I'm only taking on work that I get complete creative freedom on. I don't want to take on work that someone sends me a picture and just wants something certainly made, and that just expects me to work in production and do that for the same price as like a normal jewelry store would. I just can't do that anymore. But I'd be totally happy to work with the client's stones. If you have your own stone, you can send that. And even if you had your own gold, if you have an old ring that still means something to you and you want to use that gold, I'm happy to melt that down and use it. But as long as I get creative freedom for the job to put in a lot more love and effort into it, that's the only job I really want to take on at the moment, which is going to be way more special in the end, and it means a lot more to me. So if you were to send me some stones and some gold or something, I will be putting aside every other piece of work just to focus on your thing solely, which is something I explained in my other video of how I took 2 weeks to just solely focus on those 2 rings. I think a lot of clients will actually appreciate that, rather than going to a jeweler who's going to be working on 5 rings at the same time and yours. I think that if you're coming to me, it's going to be something super unique, super special, and something that, you know, all my time and energy has just gone into your thing solely. And there'll be a beautiful video made of the piece at the end of it as well, because I love to film my whole work in progress like I usually do. And also, a lot of people have asked me, do I have like a website, or do I have stock? And unfortunately, I cannot afford to have a website up. I tried to have a website with stock in the past, and it just cost too much monthly when I wasn't really selling much. And so I actually do have stock, but you can't really find it anywhere. Like, I do have an Etsy store, but it gets deleted after 30 days if it doesn't sell, and it's since been deleted and I can't be bothered re-uploading it. But this very necklace that you see in all my recent videos is actually for sale. There's actually 2 YouTube videos, one I made of me cutting the opal, and then one I made of me making this piece. I'm going to be showing you guys right here, so you can go have a look at them. But this piece I've been wearing for a while because it didn't sell, but it is still available for sale. If anyone wants it, you're able to shoot me a message. I'd still be happy to sell it. But it just didn't sell, so right now I've just been wearing it and I love it. And it's one of my favorite pieces I've ever made, so if I wear this forever, it doesn't really bother me if it sells or not. I also have this rough opal necklace that I made in stock as well. It is an uncut piece of opal paired with some lapis lazuli here, and this piece I think has really good potential to cut something really nice. Color bar goes all the way around, and it's showing some beautiful teal blues and everything. You can see how it looks on the neck here kind of thing. It is very, very beautiful. I love wearing the rough opal necklaces. I think it's such a good conversation starter piece to show people how it comes out of the wall and stuff like that. Now, this is also something I'd love to wear myself, so I also don't mind if that doesn't sell either. Literally everything that I make with creative freedom is something I'd love to wear myself, which is something that's just so important to me that even if something doesn't sell, it doesn't bother me, because it's just such a cool thing that I can wear and appreciate. I also have one here that's been paired with some tiger eye, and this one is a rough opal knobby from Lightning Ridge that's showing some nice color right there in the corner. It's just been snibbed there, and that's about it. I think you can see, oh yeah, you can see some blue coming out the rest of it too, but it's completely rough, which is really, really cool, straight out of the ground. I've actually worn quite a bit. I really love this one, and you can see me wearing it in some of my other videos too, but that is for sale if anyone wants it still as well. The cord that I used to wrap these with lasts in the shower heaps. I never take these off. I wear this in the shower all the time. The cords are just amazingly strong. Now I also have one more rough opal necklace, which is this one here. It's got a purple color bar in it, completely rough, straight out of the wall. And here's a little chip that actually came off from the other side right here. So you could cut this piece and then have one cut to show the potential of what this could cut. But I thought I'd leave that up to whoever buys it can cut it. But you can see right in there, you have a nice blue purpley color bar sitting on that gray potch there, and it's going to make a nice little stone. And that is really all I have to stock at the moment. I have some wooden spoons that I carved as well. If anyone's interested in hand carved wooden spoons, I have a bunch of them. They're actually on my Etsy site at the moment. They haven't been taken down yet because they haven't been up for a month yet, so check out them. There's also full videos of me carving them on my YouTube channel and on TikTok. Now, as for why I don't take down my YouTube videos with all the negativity, it's because YouTube is like my diary, and I've explained this in other videos before, but I like to post about everything I do in my life, whether it be camping, van life stuff, jewelry making, tattooing, whatever. I just post random stuff all the time, and it's just a way for me to express myself, express my feelings, just like someone would when they write in a diary. Except these days it's 2026 and we got internet and phones and stuff, and I like to make videos about my life instead of writing in a diary, but it's pretty much doing the same thing. And so I don't like having gaps in my life, so that's why I'm keeping the video up, even though it's a bit negative with everything that happened. And yeah, so with that, I think we're done with this video, so I'll see you guys in the next one. In the meantime, leave a comment, leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.